Is the tech job market cooked? This is a question that I've been seeing a lot on my social media, a lot of mutuals, a lot of people that are speaking to this. And I kind of want to encourage you that no, it is not. If y'all don't know who I am Lance. I've been in tech for about 3 to 4 years in a few different roles. And the tech job market is not cooked. I feel like a lot of folks are sharing a lot of misinformation about how to get into tech, and some of it is disingenuous. Some of them are trying to sell courses, and so they want you to kind of go on some sort of ladder to get you into the tech industry, right? For example, I've known that the CCNA, which is the Cisco Networking Cert, is a very good cert and a very good cert in helping you get your hands, give you hands-on experience with networking equipment, especially Cisco specific equipment. But nowadays, it seems like even certs like that, which are really good certifications, people are saying, well, no, you got to get the CCNP, which is like the next level up, the professional cert, as if the associate cert is not enough to break you into the networking industry or like to be a network engineer or a network admin or those sorts of things. And I think it's problematic. The job market is not cooked. It is a lot more effort, but it is not cooked. Let me just share you experience I just had. I recently just had a role that typically I'm always applying for roles. Like if I see a role that I kind of want to measure my skills up to see if I could even make a recruiter turn their head or a job give me the opportunity to get an interview. And it's not because I dislike my current job, it's because I think it's always important to figure out where you are in the marketplace. What is your skill set based on your experience, your certs, all these different things, right? I had a recruiter actually reach out to me and they're like, hey, we see your things. We think you'd be a good fit to try to interview for this role. And the role was actually for a larger company in the area who just has to have like a headquarter here. And I had the interview and I thought it went well. And the next morning, I got a call to say, hey, we're not moving you along. Feedback from the client said that, whatever they said, it's not really important for this video. But it's really just to let you know that even a person who is a few years in, who has certs and who has experience, has those types of experiences. And so if you are trying to break into tech for the first time, do not be discouraged. It is a competitive landscape. It is not a 1 + 2 = 3 formulaic type of way to break into the tech industry. But there are some tips that you probably want to focus on when it comes to breaking into tech. The first one is do not cert chase. I just talked about a couple of my certifications. Like I have the Network Plus, I have the Security Plus. I'm actually scheduled to take my SC300, which is a Microsoft certification for Thursday. We'll see how that goes. And those certifications are helpful, but make sure you are not cert chasing. Do not try to collect a bunch of papers thinking that jobs are going to take you serious because you are just taking tests and collecting papers. That's not why jobs want to hire you. Jobs want to hire you, one, because to see if you're a good cultural fit, but also to see if you have the technical skills. That can vary, but really they want to see if you have the technical thinking it takes to perform the role that you would be taking on if you were to get the job. So, what certs should you get? I'm a big fan of the Security Plus. I think that it does a really good job at getting you a good foundation for language, of what language is used in the tech industry across the board. You learn about certain things like service level agreements. You learn things, about things. Sure, you learn about like cybersecurity things on a very low level kind of basis, but it also gives you a good landscape of what the tech sphere looks like. So if you're trying to get into tech and you need to try to land your first role, which I'll talk about in a moment, I highly suggest getting your Security Plus. I'm a big fan of searching online on Reddit for discount codes for the CompTIA test. I recently got a for my Network Plus a coupon code on Reddit for like a third off. Actually, that may have been TikTok, but I got 30% off of what my usual price would be. Save me a lot of money, right? Even though I got that reimbursed from my employer, that was very helpful. So all I would consider the Security Plus. Always be looking for discounts. The next thing that you should probably be looking at and looking to do if you're trying to break into tech, aside from getting your first certification, is figuring out the role you want to get. Now, I'm a fan of not trying to apply for big, large companies when you're first starting out. I strongly suggest looking for a help desk role, IT analyst role, a very low level role when you're trying to break into the industry. And on top of that, I do not suggest, like I said, breaking into large companies. I would look for a nonprofit, a school, a MSP, a managed service provider, or a local company that needs that kind of interfacing where they have a group of people that day to day they just have kind of low level tech needs like creating a new user, fixing a printer, fixing a computer because of you may have parts of a computer that need to be replaced in companies trying to keep their costs low when it comes to inventory. I strongly suggest going for the smaller companies. I always say this. I always say this on my TikToks. I say this everywhere. You need to be knocking at your mom and pop's door and asking them if they have an IT role available or if they would consider you even doing it on a part-time basis, right? If they could pay you whatever um, kind of fee they can, because just to be real with you, if you're starting off with no certifications, if you're starting off with no experience, it's going to be very hard to convince a mid to larger size company to just let you come on board when you got no disrespect to anybody, but people like me who I have a little more uh, experience than the typical candidate. So, and there are people who are starting to be overqualified applying for those all roles already. So, where you want to start at is where you can be, right? So, if you don't have a certification, I would start looking at those mom and pops, nonprofits, or schools that may have those analyst roles available. Because one, they just want somebody that is good with interfacing with people, but they're not expecting you to know everything top to bottom. They're not expecting you to know what DNS is or DHCP is or any of those sort of networking concepts. They're not expecting you to know how to configure a backup or to know how to compare different networking configurations or layouts and things like that, right? Like, they just want somebody who is interested and can learn, but also is willing to show some initiative. So I say schools, nonprofits, small businesses is where you want to start. In addition to that, what I would always suggest is completing projects, because it's always good to come to these types of companies or even mid-level companies if you have certifications, if you even if to either along with it or to start projects. I strongly suggest starting a project. There is a project that I like a lot because it is a practical project of what you would actually be doing in a workplace, and that is the Active Directory server build project. And what you would do with this project, and I'm going to probably make a video. Actually, I will be making a video detailing this in a lot deeper context. But what you're going to be doing in this kind of a project is that you are be simulating the work of what you'll be actually do when you're going into these kinds of roles. So you would download some sort of virtual machine, a virtual software, and that's going to either be VirtualBox, VMware, Hyper-V, something like that. Maybe or maybe not Hyper-V, but VirtualBox is free, VMware is free. And what you're going to do is spin up the evaluation version of Windows Server operating system, OS. And what you're going to do is, and you can do this even with the free version of ChatGPT, is say, hey, um, walk me through, and there are videos of other folks doing this as well, but walk me through how to build up a server and establish Active Directory. Now, the reason you want to be able to do this is because to be a server, which essentially is all a server is some sort of computer machine that manages resources in a given environment so that other folks can access those resources, or that resource or that server dictates how things are distributed amongst different assets in the company, other people's computers. So the idea is you build this server build in a virtual setting because it ain't gonna cost you nothing. You build this Active Directory because it's gonna help you manage the people like people would be in a different company. And you could also domain join devices. And what that allows you to do is it helps you dictate certain rules. It helps you dictate how things are updated in the given environment or those computers that are joined to your domain. It helps you manage those assets in that kind of corporate environment. Because ultimately, in an IT analyst role, your help desk role, that's what you're going to be doing anyways. And so doing that kind of a project and maybe screen recording a breakdown of it with Loom or whatever screen capture you have, and maybe doing a background vocal of it or like a voiceover of it, that's going to go a long way in this tech environment for people who are just looking for people that are capable, but it's on people that are self-starters. And also, like, it would make you more comfortable when you go into that role and somebody's like, I need you to reset my password. And you don't have to ask your boss, like, how do I reset a password to Active Directory? You already know how to do that. So all I have to say is the job market is not cooked when it comes to tech. We got to be a little more competitive. I got to be a little more competitive, right? So I shared that interview story earlier. I need to take that feedback, and now I need to go into the next interview with a better outlook, a better approach. And if you're trying to break into the tech industry, if you're not doing the things that I've said in this video, it's going to be really hard for you to break through and show yourself that you are different from the folks that are also applying alongside you. Again, I'm Lance. Thank y'all for watching. Subscribe, like, peace.